This crisis will pass, and America will reemerge with a far sounder financial system.
Congressman Paul, do you even listen to him anymore?
I have to, because somebody like you might ask me a question about him. No, I don't really listen in the sense that I'm going to get a lot of new information. I used to listen to him when he was writing back in the 60s because he agreed with free market economics and no respect for the Federal Reserve. Lately, though, I mean, he's been part of it, and right now he's really gotten bad because what he was saying yesterday was that the only place where he might have made a mistake is he didn't advocate more regulations. Well, if you're a true free market person, it isn't the lack of regulations trying to regulate and improve on the conditions that the government creates. I mean, we created this problem. The Federal Reserve created this. The Community Reinvestment Act created. The FDIC created. The Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac created. It was all seen there. But now he says, oh, if we could have only had more regulations, we could have salvaged this flawed system.
Well, you believe that markets can be or should be self-regulating, yeah?
Well, to a degree, but the government does have a responsibility to deal with fraud. But the monetary system is fraudulent. Instead of perpetuating fraud in the monetary system, they should be dealing with real fraud. But just regulating prices, that's what they're doing now. They're trying to regulate prices and set prices for these assets that have no value. So, no, that's not the kind of regulation we want. But there is certainly a role for regulations. We should be regulating the Federal Reserve System is what we really ought to be regulating.
Well, looks regardless of what we talk about this morning, the Dow's going to go off a cliff again today. So let me turn to politics, if I could. A lot of people have said, particularly because of the economy, this is a bad year to be a Republican. John McCain behind in the national polls, seems to be behind in the battleground states as well. He's got a long and difficult road if he hopes to win the Oval Office. If Republicans really take a beating, Congressman Paul, on November the 4th, where does that leave the Republican brand?
Well, I think they're in big trouble, but I think I mentioned that a year or so ago that they've sort of lost their way. No, it's going to be a lot worse. But you'd have to say that the markets aren't being reassured about the obvious victory that's going to occur. Then I said, oh my, you know, we're going to have Obama and a Democratic Congress stronger than ever, so things are going to get a lot better. They haven't discounted that yet. So the country's in a mess regardless. But I think the Republican Party really in a mess because we'll probably lose a fair amount of seats again.
How bad a blow could it be, and how long might it take the party to rebuild?
Well, you know, I was first elected, or first ran in 1974, and I think there were about 145 members of Congress, Republicans then. It took 20 years, so that is the case. But, you know, I think it's secondary to what the Congress is doing. If both parties have bad ideas, it doesn't matter a whole lot.
Hey, I wanted to ask you about...
Both parties follow those ideas.
You're on the ballot in a couple of states. You're on the ballot in Louisiana. You're also on the ballot in Montana. And in Montana, you were polling 4% there, and that's exactly the difference between Senator McCain and Barack Obama, with Barack Obama on top. I mean, you could be the spoiler here and take Montana away from Senator McCain, and I know that some Republicans friendly to you said, hey, get off the ballot in Montana. You tried, you couldn't. How are you going to feel if, because of you, McCain loses Montana?
Well, I think it'll be a pretty far stretch if McCain loses the election. They're going to blame me. I haven't been campaigning in Montana. People who are supporting me up there are spontaneous. They're enthusiastic. They don't like either candidate. So I don't think the person whose name they picked is the one that does the spoiling. I think there's something else that is wrong. Maybe it's the flawed policies of both candidates.
Congressman Paul, it's always good to see you. Thanks for joining us this morning. We'll check back with you again soon.
Thank you. Good to be with you.